Hello guys and welcome to Critical Development, the show where I take a look at maps that you send me and provide comments and criticisms so that you can make them even better. On today's episode I will be joined by William TheUnproPro, who will help me take a look at the maps that I have for you today. William is a fellow RPG maker, content creator here on YouTube. In fact, he might actually be one of the biggest ones. You can check out his channel by clicking on the card in the corner. Now, William and I here actually agree on a lot of things with these maps, so to avoid redundancy, I'm just gonna let him say what it is that he has to say, and then I'll interject whenever I have a thought. So with all that being said, let's jump into the first map. This first map was submitted to us by Aljets on Twitter. I believe that is his name.
This map is absolutely beautiful. The trees, even though they're the exact same tree just repeated over and over again, the additional shading makes it kind of negligible. Although I wish that he would have at least reversed some of the trees, like flipped them horizontally. But other than that, the vegetation and the rocks especially stand out the most to me. I love the way the path looks and how it's sort of faded into the grass, stating that it's kind of been there for a while. The things that kind of bug me are the regular tiles there, the squarey based ones, as well as the shadow underneath the tree that's kind of in the water. Although this was probably temporary and probably wasn't fully finished yet, but there are plugins out there that can allow you to have multiple parallaxes and have them kind of scrolling, which you can use to make this really beautiful looking water effect, and you can avoid using the square tiles that way, like the square tile based water that way. I love the vines over the entrance to the cave as well. That's really cool.
I will say that I find the shadows to be a bit harsh in the upper left and lower right corners. That could just be a stylistic choice, but to me it's a little off-putting. Also, I feel like the sun rays in the upper right corner aren't giving off as much ambient light as they would naturally, so expand the brighter patch there and I think you'll be good. This next map was by iMaple, and it shows a snowy village that seems to me very reminiscent of the first area in Final Fantasy VI. You know, where you're walking your mechs through and killing, helpless miners.
I love this map. The tiles are amazing. I love this tile set so much. The houses look really good. And the map overall looks really good. I love how he kind of put houses on the top of the cliffs there, even though you can never actually get to those houses. As you can see at the top, there are two exits from the cave, but there are objects blocking the way to the houses. I love the sense of depth here, but if there's one thing I had to nitpick, it would be all the random barrels and boxes that are kind of just sitting in the middle of nowhere. Personally, I think it'd be better if those are just like grass with snow over them or something similar to that. Some other type of vegetation, be it a dead bush or dead grass or whatever, just covered in snow. I think it would look a little bit better than boxes and barrels. But still, overall, it's a really, really nice looking map. I love how you have the little frozen piece of water there at the bottom of the screen where all the snowmen are. And there's a snowman that appears to be stuck in the ice. That poor dude. I'm just curious on what comes out of that little hole near the snowman. Like what lurks in there, man.
Personally, I really, really like the cemetery up in the upper right. That's immediately where my eyes were drawn. It gives this town some character. It gives it a story, which is super nice to see. I also like some of the subtle light effects over a few of the windows. It really helps make this town feel alive. I also sort of question the seemingly random statues of angels. One of them makes sense because it seems like it's kind of in someone's yard and maybe it's their personal shrine, but the other one down in the lower right is kind of just hanging out in a place that I can't really imagine too many people would go. So it's just sort of something to keep in mind when you're placing your tiles, that things should be placed logically to a certain degree. Still though, I absolutely adore this map. This next one up was submitted by Patrick Black Mason, showing a very developed town using the default tiles.
This one has a very Pokemon-ish feel to it because of the way it's surrounded by the trees. The one thing that would kind of bother me is the very squarey looking water, but considering you're using the default tile set, this map looks pretty amazing actually. The one thing that kind of irritates me a little bit is the one tile high walls. I definitely prefer walls to be 2 tiles high, although sometimes it can look good just being 1 tile high, and this map is a great example of that. So good job, this map looks excellent. I love the bridge in the middle as well. However, the bridge looks really high up, whereas the land does not because of the way the water is. You only have like this small little wall, and it kind of makes the bridge look higher up than the actual land is. But other than that, it looks really good. Good job.
It feels a little empty to me in some places. There's just a lot of patches where there's a lot of dead space that I think you could utilize a little bit better, although it does sort of give it a developed yet still foresty feel. Also, there are other flower tiles, if I'm not mistaken, so you could probably vary up the decoration on the ground because we see those flower tiles a lot. Even if you just have to do subtle tile set editing to get some variation, it might help. We've also got some weird things with the fence, like in this spot up on the river, that just doesn't seem like that's a way that a fence would actually function. There's just a random hole. Next up, we actually have two maps from Christopher Appleton. One's an exterior map and one's an interior map, so I'm kind of just gonna group them together here.
I love the way he designed the houses here. I love the way the inn looks and how it's connected to the armor and weapons shop. And I love how he's making use of the different roof tiles to kind of create these unique house structures. The locations of the hills are really nice and it adds a really nice sense of depth. And overall, for a default tile set map, I think this is really, really good. The one thing that would bug me though is the little side stairs. I understand that it's like pretty difficult to kind of get the side stairs to look right, especially considering that the default tile set does not come with nice looking side stairs. But the side stairs, they have less steps than the front stairs, and it just kind of makes it feel a little bit awkward. That's my only nitpick though.
This definitely seems like the sort of town that you'd see in like Stardew Valley or Animal Crossing, something. It feels like a very agricultural town. Like I totally expect you to go to the north and just see nothing but fields for the next map. At least that's the way it feels to me. You could actually fix the staircase problem by just eliminating the topmost stair tile on your front-facing stairs. Also, I would space out the water lilies a little bit because they just seem kind of blocky and unnatural. I also really like the scarecrow in the little like grassy patch there. It's a nice little touch. All in all, a pretty solid map.
Now, the interior looks amazing as well. The weapon and armor shop really stand out to me, as you have a row of tables that display pretty much everything. I love the way you did the inn and how it's supposed to sort of be on top of the weapon and armor shop. That's actually really, really cool. I love that idea. And I love how you did it. I love how you can kind of see the entrance to the weapon and armor shop. Although the locations of the little boards are flipped, the armor is on the right this time, whereas on the original map, the armor was on the left. One thing that bugs me about the inn is the carpet. I've never seen a carpet kind of curved that way, so it looks a little bit strange to me, but other than that, really good. You did an excellent job, and I really like this map.
And with the interior, basically, William hit it right on the head. They look really, really good. The carpet is really weird and a little off-putting, but I kind of get what you were going for with it. And yeah, you do just sort of need to flip the signage. Okay, so now that all those are out of the way, I'm going to go ahead and remake one of these maps. So let's jump right into it. So there you go, a look at how I would do one of the maps. Now note that my way of doing it is not necessarily the best way of doing it. The original way might have actually been better in some regards. So if the original creator just wants to use their map, all power to them. All of the maps this time around were actually really fantastic, and I had a very hard time trying to improve upon them. That's all there is for this episode. If you liked it, be sure to leave a like and, put a comment down below. And if you'd be so kind to go ahead and check out William TheUnproPro, there's a link to his channel here on screen and also in the cards. I will also leave a link down in the description box. Thanks for watching, guys, and have a good one.